friends, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, hi, I'm Ashley, and I hope you're having a productive day. So here's another episode of Cook With Me, and I'm going to make one of my favorite things. Has quite a few ingredients. It is a little more complicated than my last one, but again, just bear in mind this is just a method. There are really no measurements because I kind of make it up, and today we're doing a chicken cashew stir fry. So I have some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I have this many because I pulled them out of the freezer, and we're doing leftovers for lunch tomorrow. I have some cashews. I just use the halves and pieces from Aldi because it doesn't really matter if they're whole or not. For me, I'm going to put some broccoli. Again, what I'm going to do is steam this and then toss it in. Some rice, as usual, everything's from Aldi. Some olive oil to saute the chicken in, and then I have some elements for my sauce. I have some honey, some sesame oil, reduced fat soy sauce, some Asian stir fry sauce, and some teriyaki sauce. I may throw in a little bit of sriracha or some kind of hot pepper. I'm not sure yet. So those are the components that I have. How I like to start is, I'm going to turn you this way so you can see over here. I like to start by toasting my cashews. So I'm going to put my cashews in a pan. Pan's going to be kind of just medium. Really whatever your medium setting is on your stove. And then I'm going to start the cashews going. You'll know when they're done because they'll smell, you can smell them coming off the pan. So I'm just going to let that go. While that's going, I'm going to chop my chicken up. I like to cut it into, 1 to 2 inch size pieces. So I'm going to do that while that's on the pan. So now that the chicken is all cut up and ready, now it's time to just keep an eye on my cashews a little bit more closely. Right now there's no coloring on it, and I want there to be a little bit more brownness. You kind of want them to get a little golden brown on pieces, so I'm going to keep them on the burner a little bit. This is a dry pan, no oil. Let's taste one. So they're not far off from how I like them to be. I am going to turn this up a little because I'm also going to want to cook the chicken at a little bit higher temperature. So these can get a little bit browner while I warm the pan up for the chicken. I'm going to transfer them when they're ready to a paper plate and just set that off to the side until I'm ready to add them back in. So I don't know how well you can see on camera, but it has a little bit of this golden brown color. That's what you want on some of the pieces. It doesn't even have to be on all of the pieces. So I'm seeing enough of that in the pan that I'm going to remove this from the pan so that I can cook up the chicken. I'm just adding it to the paper plate I have over to this side. Woo, you can see the burner. There's some little pieces left. That's okay. We're gonna add some oil so that I can get the chicken in there. Because I want a really hot pan for my chicken. So just throw some oil around. I think I'm gonna add a little sesame oil. Let me see if I'm in the mood for it. I may add that later. I don't want that to burn. Sesame oil does have a low boil or smoke point, so I don't want that to burn before I'm ready. So now we go in with the chicken. It's gonna sizzle. Nice. So I'm making sure all the chicken's like kind of separated and has room to cook, and I'm just gonna let this go for a little bit. But I am gonna add a little bit of soy sauce just to intensify the soy sauce flavor on the actual chicken. Now, while the chicken's doing its thing, I'm gonna make the sauce. So the sauce starts with quite a bit of soy sauce. I mean, I would say I'm gonna use half a cup to start with. Set to the side because I may use more. I'm gonna use a little bit of honey, probably just a tablespoon. The amount of sauce really depends on the amount of chicken and other things you have, but I truly do just eyeball it. About a quarter cup of that. That's what I have left, so that's what I'm going to use. That's the teriyaki sauce. And then there's about a half a cup. Lid malfunction. There's about a half a cup of the stir fry sauce. Oops. We're just making messes here, guys. Lid's not going on well. I feel like that's gonna be really sweet. So I'm going to whisk it together to make sure I mix in that honey. That part can be very difficult to get mixed in. But that's what it looks like right now. I feel like I want to add a little bit of lemon juice. Well, so I just have some canned lemon juice, and I'm just going to throw like just a splash, kind of cut some of that sweetness with acid. I want to add some garlic, which I'm grabbing, some pepper, and I'm going to go for, I'm going to put in a tiny bit of crushed red pepper. Don't want it to be overpoweringly spicy, but I want it to have a little spice. Not much. Woo. So now we have the start of our sauce here. Show you guys up close what it looks like. So now that that's made, we need to stir the chicken. We turn you back this way so you're facing that chicken. I've let it sit for a while on this one side. I'm trying to create a nice flavor base in the chicken for the sauces and everything that's going to go in this. Now, the other thing I will decide about is I'll decide later as I make the sauce if I want to thicken it or not. Sometimes I will thicken it with some cornstarch. Sometimes I don't. It really just depends on how the sauce is working for you as you're doing it. Sometimes it thickens up enough and sometimes it doesn't. So, chicken is not where I need it to be yet. I am actually going to turn up the heat just a little bit. I'm going to go pop the broccoli in the microwave so that it's ready when I'm ready to dump it in. Okay, so I'm going to cook the chicken for a couple more minutes because I still see some pink, and what I want to do next is add the sauce, and I don't want there to be any pink visible because I really only want it to sit in the sauce for maybe 5 minutes. So I want to make sure that 5 minutes is going to be long enough to cook all the chicken. Definitely don't want raw chicken. Some of the ones on the perimeter moving to the middle because they're not getting as warm. This pan is a little bit bigger than the eye on the stove, so. Okay, so the chicken is looking the way I want it to for me to add the sauce. So I'm bringing my sauce over. I really like this lid or this bowl that has a little spout. Makes it easy. I'm going to stir it one last time and then I'm just going to pour it over. Make sure I get all that good stuff out of there. It looks like I'm going to be thickening based on what I'm seeing right now, but I do want to let it cook just a little, see how much it'll cook down. But it looks like based on my consistency at this point, I am going to be thickening it with some cornstarch. But for right now, I'm just going to make sure I like to make sure the chicken's kind of buried a little bit, if you can tell from here. The chicken's sort of swimming in there, and in each piece is a little bit under the sauce. I like to do that so that it just soaks up as much flavor as possible. But you can see it's pretty thin. So I'm going to give this a few minutes, probably about 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and determine, are we going to move forward with thickening it or not. So I am going to thicken up the sauce. I am going to wait a little longer because I want to do it very close to when the rice is done. Now, 2 things about cornstarch that I've learned that I'll mention. Number 1 is you want to mix it into a cold liquid. So I'm going to take, so I don't lose flavor, I'm going to take some soy sauce and mix the cornstarch into the soy sauce and then pour it in. The other thing is it will thicken quickly. So as soon as it heats up, it will thicken. Flour takes a little bit longer. It has to boil for a little bit longer before it thickens. However, cornstarch thickens pretty quickly. So I'm going to be doing that. But first, I want to make sure and get the broccoli in so that it has a time. I did not heat it all the way in the microwave. Sorry, just draining it a little. I did not heat it all the way in the microwave because I don't want it to overcook. So, but I do need to get it in there so that it can cook in the sauce. And it's going to cool the sauce down some. So I want to put it in now so that it has time to cook. We like a lot of broccoli in our stir fries. It's always good to have your green, dark green vegetables. Also going to grab a little piece of chicken to taste it. Assess the sauce situation, if you will. Pretty nice. I'm not gonna make any changes. I am gonna go ahead and add in my cashews though. Oh, that is yummo, let me tell you. But I want that to have some time to heat back through, mix in with the sauce and stuff I've got here. Wow, this is just stunning. You'll see when I get this thicker, it's gonna just coat these vegetables and chicken like nobody's business, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bowl. They're up here, so sorry. I'm gonna take a bowl, take some cornstarch. Let me decide how I want to do it. I think I'm gonna get a spoon. I've got a spoon now. I've got my little bowl. I'm gonna take some in the bowl, and I'm gonna load it up with some soy sauce. May water it down some with some water. Let me see. I do like to create, this is called a slurry, where you create a liquid that has, I don't know if it's just cornstarch, but has some kind of thickener mixed in. So you can see that's what it looks like. Actually, it mixed up really well. Not a lot of lumps, which is good news for our cooking. So yeah, I don't need to water that down anymore. I feel like we're in a good place. And that's a good amount of cornstarch to create the coating I want. I'm going to add a tad of, not much because this is pretty potent, just a tad of sesame oil into that as like a finishing oil, and stir that in. I wish I could tell you guys how this smells, but I can't. So, all right, folks, now the magic is gonna happen. We're gonna put the cornstarch slurry in. And then we're gonna stir that around. And I'm gonna try to translate on camera what it does, because it's gonna thicken this up. Oh, you can see it. I mean, like, it's instant as it heats up. This cornstarch, and it gets scattered throughout. You can see it coating. I'm going to try to show you. You can see it coating the vegetables and stuff now. So that's why I wanted to wait till like the very last minute to add that, because it's very instant that happens. It's taking a minute to stir all this around, folks. Oh, can't wait to taste it. This is hands down one of my favorite things that I make. So Thanks for sharing it with me. Oh, we are so good to go. It's so coated nicely. And turn the stove off. I'll be back and I'll show you it plated. All right, guys, here's the finished product. What? I made this in my kitchen. I'm gonna take a bite. I'm gonna get some of everything. So let's get some chicken, some cashews, some broccoli, some rice. Bite with all of it. I don't know if you can see the steam on camera. I would have liked it a little spicier, but it tastes good. So, it's time for me to go eat. Thank you for watching another episode of Cook With Me. Excuse me a minute. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Cook With Me. I'll be back with this series every now and then. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video.